Hello everyone, welcome to ACE Online and welcome to Daily Current Affairs session. So these are the articles, very few, but yes, there is a two important articles which will be a little bit lengthy. First, onset of monsoon. So we will see a very detailed discussion on monsoon in India, right? So this is part of geography. This is part of geography. Then landslides in India. So this is also can be part of geography as well as disaster management. Disaster management as well. So we will see the detailed facts, which areas impacted, how much area in India is prone to landslide, what are the causes, everything we will see here. Then a small articles, these rest of the two. So Nishi tribe from culture or social issues also we can take. Rash Bihari Bose, not Rash Bihari Ghosh, he is a moderator. We are discussing Rash Bihari Bose, who is a revolutionary. So this is part of history, especially the modern history. This is part of modern history. And then some factual pointers as well as some practice questions. Fine. So these are the articles that we are going to cover today. Very good evening, Srinath and Oindila. And before going into the discussion, this onset of monsoon article, I felt it is a very challenging because you need to know some basics about it, right? It is actually a very lengthy session. We can take 1.5 hours usually when we are teaching in the offline and all. So it takes more than 1.5 hours to discuss about the monsoon. So briefly, I am going to explain you what is the causes and all. Even before monsoon, you need to know certain things like trade winds, easterlies, westerlies. So I am going to teach about those things also. But yes, very basic level. I hope it will make you understand. If you have any doubts, and please do let me know in a comment section, right. So this article will be a little bit lengthy, it may take around 20 minutes also, 15, 20 to 20 minutes, but yes, a very important. Then rest of the articles we can complete in a much faster way. Fine. Yeah, very good evening to one and all. So let's start with the session, that is the first article about the onset of monsoon. The context is the southwest monsoon, which is a major one for our Indian monsoon system, is progressively progressing in a normal manner. That means it is going to reach in a correct time in a proper manner, right. So this is what the Indian Meteorological Department has published. This is the context, right. We will see a very detailed things about monsoon and all, then we will come to the context of what actually is the onset of monsoon. So we will know the background all about this monsoon system, and then we will come to the onset of monsoon, right. Yeah, let us start what actually the planetary winds. So you might be scared if you are not a person who has accompanied or accustomed with the geography and all. So it may seem a little bit difficult. Let me make you very simple thing. We will break it down and then we will discuss. This is a very important topic from the climatic change or climate, Indian climate or even the global climate. So let us understand. This is Earth. I will be asking you some questions also. Some questions also I will be asking you. You need to answer it, right. So this is Earth and this is equator. So as Earth have different latitudes, so 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degrees, so until 90 degrees, 90 degrees north as well as 90 degrees south. Now tell me, in which latitude there will be a high amount of temperature recorded, in which regions of this Earth surface. Assume the Earth has a 360 degree, not just one face. So it has a 360 degree, and tell me in which latitude there will be a higher amount of temperature. Higher amount of temperature, tell me. I need answer, so that very basics, we have discussed these things in many of the sessions. So in which region? In which region of this latitude is a very high temperature reported? It is nothing but the equator. Equator is the one where there will be high amount of temperature recorded when we compare to other parts of latitudes. Why? I have told you in one of the sessions that, understand here, do not observe this diagram, this is sun and this is Earth. This is the center axis of sun, and Earth axis is not exactly same in synchronicity. As we have seen in one of the sessions in the seasons, Earth there is a tilt, that means the vertical axis is exactly not synchronity with the sun, it is like a little bit tilting, right. So observe here, so earth is like this, actually it is a tilting a little bit towards the sun, right. So this axis is like this, it is not exactly in a vertical manner, so it is tilting, the northern hemisphere is tilting, right, and when it goes this side, this southern hemisphere comes nearer to the sun, right. Earth is not exactly in a vertical manner, rather it is a tilting one, right. Now tell me, yes, equator, correct Srinath. Now tell me, you have said already the answer that there will be higher temperature in this region. Do you think the sunlight, this sunlight whatever we are having, the sunlight will be, the sun will be directly on the Tropic of Cancer to Tropic of Capricorn. See, as the earth is tilting and it takes 365 days to rotate, this sunlight will directly fall up to Tropic of Cancer, and then once the winter is happened, so go back to the seasons, on June 21st we have a summer in the northern hemisphere, that means sun will be directly on the Tropic of Cancer, and during the winter in December 21 the sun will be on the Tropic of Capricorn, because this earth will rotate and go back that side, this southern hemisphere will become nearer and the northern hemisphere will go farther. Because of this, the sunrays directly falls between the tropics only, the sun rays will not go to the beyond the tropics. Yes, there will be a reflected sunlight, refracted sunlight, but there is no direct sunlight on the earth except in the tropical regions. Do you agree with this? Because of this tilt and throughout 365 days rotation, only sun moves between the tropics. Do you agree with this? A little bit complex for those who haven't prepared the geography, but yes, understand that the sun moves only between the tropics, right. So either the sunlight will directly reach out to the Tropic of Cancer during the summer in the northern hemisphere, and during the summer in the southern hemisphere sunlight will directly fall on the Tropic of Capricorn and they will return back, right. So I hope this is clear, right. Now there is a planetary winds, there are certain fixed winds on the earth. Visualize, these winds are located on the top over the earth's surface, this is earth, and over that means above us there are planetary winds, just above the earth's surface there is a 3 planetary winds based on the tropical regions. Great, yes. So now assume this, we have a 3 types of, this is the equator region, and now tell me where there is a higher temperature, will there be a low pressure or a high pressure? Whenever there is a high temperature, the particles are closer or denser, closer or farther. So wherever there is a high temperature, the particles are farther and there is a low pressure zone. I hope you are understanding, as equator is having the high temperature recorded in the whole region, we have a low pressure zone at the equator, right. So now all the winds in this tropic, from this Tropic of Cancer, yes, low pressure, very good Malini. So as here there is a high temperature, there is a low pressure, the winds from Tropic of Cancer will rush towards this region, right, because the temperature here is a little bit lower when compared to this equator region. That is why the winds will rush towards the equator, because there is a low pressure zone, right. So this area is called as the equator low pressure zone. I hope you are following, equatorial low pressure zone, right, because there is a low pressure there, the winds rushes from the Tropic of Cancer, and in southern hemisphere from Tropic of Capricorn the winds rushes towards the equator region, they are called as the equatorial low pressure zone. And also the winds which are exactly located on the equator region, they are called as the doldrums. See, I might have, I could have taught directly monsoon system, southwest monsoon, how winds and all will come, but you need to understand this, then only you will be able to connect it to the southwest monsoon, right. So these are called as the doldrums, and the winds which are located between the tropics, Tropic of Cancer and the equator is called as the trade winds. Even if you do not remember doldrums, you can leave it, but there are winds which are moving from the tropical region to the equator. These are called as the trade winds, very very important, trade winds. These are the ones which becomes the southwest monsoon and brings us the monsoon. That is why you need to remember the trade winds. And southern side they are called as southeast winds. Can anyone tell me the answer why they are called as southeast winds? Those people who have already prepared the general studies and then especially preparing for higher level of exams like civil services, tell me this answer. Why these trade winds are called as southeast trade winds, and the northern side they are called as northeast trade winds. Why is this direction was given for trade winds? They might have directly called the trade winds, but why this direction? Anyone? Because winds are always named from the origin. So which direction it is? From which direction it is coming? This winds, you can see the arrows, this direction, right. So they are coming from this region to this region. So this is southeast or southwest or what? This is a southeast. If you see this direction, so this is southeast. From this region they are coming towards the equator. Southern hemisphere fine, but southeast, these are coming from the southeast and these are coming from the northeast. So this is the northeast direction, this is north, this is south, this is east, this is west. So from here to here means this region is called as southeast and this region is called as northeast. That is why these are named from the origin of the direction, right. So south east, from they are coming, those are called as southeast trade winds, and those which are coming from the northeast they are called as northeast trade winds. That is why this name comes. Now one more important thing to be understood, sir, why they are coming in this direction? They could have directly straightly come to the equator region. Anyone got this doubt? They could have come like this, they could have directly straightly they could have come to the equator region. Why they are bending? Anyone got this doubt? And tell me why they are bending, if anyone could able to have prepared already. Even NCERT has covered this. If you are a student who is preparing general studies, even NCERT has covered this. So why there is a tilt? They could have straightly come from this region to this region. Why this tilt? Anyone? See, it will take around 20-25 minutes, but yes, it is very worth to understand. You can see a lot of questions. If you understand this concept, there are many questions which can be framed. Why is this tilt, right? Why is this tilt? They could have straightly come. I want this answer from anyone, if you could have already completed NCERT. Exactly, very good Srinath, you have answered this. Because of Coriolis force, that means Earth is rotating itself, not only revolving around the sun, it is also rotating itself. So Earth is rotating in a much faster speed around itself, right. So that is why, because of the Coriolis effect, remember, because of Coriolis effect, the winds in the northern hemisphere, the winds in the northern hemisphere tilt towards right, tilt towards right, tilt towards right, and whereas in southern hemisphere the winds tilt towards left, tilt towards left. Because of Coriolis force, Malini, usually they could have gone straight, but because of Earth rotation in the northern hemisphere, remember this point, there is a physics involved in it. In the northern hemisphere, the winds tilt towards the right. From wherever they are moving, they will move tilt towards the right in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, it should be straight, but because of Coriolis force, they are doing left. This is a very important to understand. In northern hemisphere right tilt and in southern hemisphere left tilt, right. So, this is a very important thing to be understood, fine. I hope this is clear. Now again there is a lot of concept involved, that is what this is a challenging one for those who are doing it the first time. If already a people who have prepared for civil service or other geography subject, it must be easy for them, right. So, because of this they are tilting. Now, I am again erasing this, right. So, now see, this is the one thing, tilting towards right in the northern hemisphere, tilting towards the left in the southern hemisphere, this is one thing. Also we have seen this is a low pressure zone and hence winds are moving from high pressure zone to low pressure zone, right. Now you go to the little bit more upper layers. We have already seen this is a low pressure zone, equatorial low pressure zone, and this is called as the tropical high pressure zone, tropical high pressure zone. When compared to this region is a high pressure zone, right. So, that is why winds move from high pressure to low pressure. Now, if you go to the polar region, subpolar, it is actually not a polar, this is a polar region, subpolar region. So, this is 0 degree and then 23.5 degree or 30 degree you can take, then go to the 60 degree, right. 60 degree is called as subpolar, and here when we compare to this region there is a low pressure zone. When we compare to the polar zone where is a colder temperatures, this is a little bit sub temperatures, that is why it is called as subpolar low pressure. Here low pressure, high pressure compared to this one, compared to the equatorial region, this is a high pressure. So, winds move from this region to this region, and compared to this region this is a low pressure, right, this is a high pressure zone. Now, winds will move to this region to this region. So, there are total 3 global winds, there may be locally lot of winds, right, but globally there are 3 types. One is trade winds which are between the tropics, and if you go a little bit above 30 degrees to 60 degree there is a westerlies, these are called as westerlies. So, here as this is a high pressure zone they move towards the subpolar zone. This is a high pressure, this is a low pressure again like equatorial zone, the winds move to the high pressure to low pressure. Again you go to the higher 60 degrees to 90 degrees, those are called as easterlies. So, there are total 3 global winds. In the tropics they are called as trade winds. In the temperate zones from 30 degrees to 60 degree they are called as westerly. Above the subpolar region above 60 degrees to till 90 degrees they are called as the easterlies, because these names are given from the direction they origin, right. So, these are the 3 categories of winds. Now, if you observe this, this is what happening on the earth surface, this is what it is happening. So, understand this, the winds from the tropical region, the Tropic of Cancer, above Tropic of Cancer 30 degrees are moving towards the equator, and they are in northern hemisphere. Understand this question and answer for me. These winds are in northern hemisphere and moving from the 30 degrees to the 0 degree. Should they tilt towards the right or should they tilt towards the left? Answer this question. The winds are in northern hemisphere and then they are moving from the Tropic of Cancer towards the equator, or they are moving from 30 degrees towards the 0 degrees. Should they tilt towards right or left? We have just discussed, in the northern hemisphere it is right, in the southern hemisphere it is left. So, tell me, should they tilt towards the right or left? I want answers, then only. This is as I said, this is a little bit complex concept, we need to teach lot of basics before this, but it takes more than hours to teach this. Yes, correct. So, see, these are moving, this is the tip point. So, it should be straight like this pen, it should be straight like this. As in the northern hemisphere they need to tilt towards the right, this is the right direction for them because they are coming from this region to this region, that is why it is called it is right side, it is tilting. So, all this will turn towards this side, right. Now, as this is a low pressure zone, all the winds reaches here, then heats up, they heats up here and then they rises up vertically. Now it is coming in the horizontal, like on the earth surface they are moving from the tropics to the equator, on the horizontally they are moving. Here all the winds heats up and then vertically they rises up, right, they rises up, and in the before, like we have a layers of atmosphere of the top, the bottommost layer is troposphere. So they reaches to the higher skies and then again they cools up, because in the higher layers there is a colder temperature, at the earth surface they are warmer, but after reaching towards high skies they cools up and then again they moves towards the tropic of the 30 degrees latitude. So like this there is a cells, these are called as the global planetary winds. Fine? Yes, correct. And in the southern hemisphere, so same thing has happened. Now the winds are moving, this is moving from the 30 degrees towards the equator in the southern hemisphere. Now in which direction they should move? Tell me. Here it is right side, but here it is left side, that's why they are moving in the left side. Here it is a right. So these are called as the trade winds, right? These are called as trade winds, and these winds from 30 degrees to 60 degrees are called as westerly, and then above ones are called as easterly. I am not discussing about easterlies and westerlies, it takes lot of time. I am only concerned with the trade winds because those are the ones which are going to affect our Indian monsoon, right. So I am specifically focusing on the trade winds. Now I hope this is clear from my side about the trade winds, how they are moving. Fine. Now coming back to the concept, we have discussed about the planetary winds, different regions we have discussed about the trade winds as well. Now there is one more concept involved. Yes, correct, Keshav. In the southern hemisphere they are tilting towards the left, right, they are tilting towards the left. Fine. So this is how they moves and then circulate. So this is all a low pressure zone or high pressure zone? This is all the low pressure zone. This equator is nothing but all the low pressure zone, right. Now tell me, is this planetary winds are fixed or moves from the with respect to the sun? So I am again coming back to the brief concept. After this we will go to the monsoon system. This is sun and this is earth which is tilting. So vertically they are not exactly in a synchronity, right. So earth is tilting like this. So these planetary winds that we have discussed is when the sun is at the equator, the sun rays are directly falling on the equator. So we have seen the seasons concept. This is sun and this is June 21 when northern hemisphere is tilting. Now this is September, right, and then this is December. Now southern hemisphere has come close, and then here in June northern hemisphere was close. In these regions, in this equinox September 21 and March 21, they are same, like there is no effect because tilt is towards east and west, but is no north and south tilt of the earth. So that is why in these regions we have a equinox, there is no impact. So exactly we have discussed this planetary winds concept when sun is exactly at the equator, right. Yes. So we have discussed this planetary winds when sun is exactly at the equator, but this will change. In this case all these planetary winds will move to the southern hemisphere or northern hemisphere. Tell me. We have discussed in the equinox condition. Now in the September 21, right, sorry, this is not September 21, December 21. Answer me this question carefully. We have discussed these planetary winds when the sun is at the equator. Now during December 21, southern hemisphere has come close to the sun and northern hemisphere went away from sun. So this all system of trade winds will move towards the north or south. Answer me this question. The question I am asking is, whatever planetary winds we have discussed, all this is when earth is, so sun is at exactly the equator. So, in case of December 21, southern hemisphere is tilting towards the sun, right? Northern hemisphere went far away from sun. So, all these systems will move towards north or south. This is what the question that I am discussing, asking you. So, all these planetary winds of equator. So, during the December 21, when sun will be directly in the southern hemisphere, all this will move towards the north or south. I want the answer. Please do answer, like a few students who are active like Srinath, Oindila, Malini, Keshav, Sahana, try to answer this. Whatever we have discussed is of equator. So, when the southern hemisphere is becoming near to sun, all these planetary winds will move to the southern hemisphere or northern hemisphere. They move towards the southern hemisphere along with the sun. So, you can remember one thing, all these winds move towards north or south based on the sun's position. Because of earth tilt, all this were happening. If earth was exactly straight like the sun, there won't be any movement itself, right? So, because of this earth tilt, whenever sun is moving towards the southern hemisphere, all these wind systems go a little bit till 30 degrees. And during the summer in the northern hemisphere, this cross equator and they go to the northern hemisphere. All this system of winds, this low pressure zone will move towards above. So, as during December 21, there is sun directly on the Tropic of Capricorn, this low pressure zone trade winds will move towards the south, and then March 21 again they will go to the equator equinox, and during June 21 again they move towards the northern side. The low pressure zone is not fixed at equator, all these winds move towards the north or south based on the sun's movement, right. So, that is why low pressure zone is not fixed at the equator. These system of winds move north or south based on the sun's position, right. So, now when will, this is a very simple question, answer the question, when will India receive the southwest monsoon? When India receives the southwest monsoon? Tell me this answer. Yes, very good. Malini, Ranjan, Srinath, Oindila, everyone have answered this correct. So, the comments were not updated here on time. Now, tell me when India receives the monsoon, usually the date. When India receives the southwest monsoon, which month? Right, exactly. So, now come to this one, equinox on March 31, then here September 21, here June 21. That means these winds which were at the equator during the March 31 or March 21, they are slowly moving, this low pressure zone is slowly moving towards the tropics from low pressure zone during March 21. This set of wind is slowly moving towards the northern hemisphere during the June. So, when these trade winds are moving towards the northern hemisphere, those winds will become the southwest monsoon winds. I will explain you that also, do not worry. I will come back to that point. Just understand that this low pressure zone is moving towards the northern hemisphere during June. That is why they are becoming the monsoon winds. Great. Yes. May last week or June first week, these trade winds are becoming the southwest monsoon. I will show you how it happens, right. So, this is the region we are going to discuss about. This is the region. So, trade winds where they are located? Here they are located, here they are located, right. These are the trade winds, and this is the equator March 21, but during the June this will move slowly towards the northern hemisphere. So, you might have got one doubt, sir, these winds are in the southeast, but we have a southwest monsoon. The winds actually southwest monsoon occurs here. I mean in this direction. The winds are in southwest, but these winds which are moving towards the northern hemisphere are actually in the southeast direction. How will they become southwest monsoon? Can anyone answer this question? Actually they are in the southeast direction, but our southwest monsoon are southwest direction. How can this change the direction? Can anyone answer this question? So I would really be very happy if someone answered the reason. Actually these winds are southeast, so they could have gone to this Arabian Peninsula. But why will they move towards the Indian subcontinent? Why will they change the direction? Anyone? This is a very trick. This type of questions are usually asked in the higher level of exam. If you are writing civil services or state PSC group 1, those who are preparing for state PSC group 1 level. So these are questions which are asked. These are southeast, but why do they move? They change the direction. Anyone? Okay, earth rotation indirect answer, but I want the direct answer. Can anyone answer this? Okay, I will give you the clue. The trade winds in the southern hemisphere because of earth rotation. Yes, you are correct. Coriolis force is the reason. So because of this Coriolis force, in the southern hemisphere the trade winds are tilting towards the left. This is the southern hemisphere. Below this red line, this is the southern hemisphere. This direction is left side, tilting towards the left, we have seen. But in northern hemisphere, what is the direction? Tilting towards the right. Tilting towards the right. So when these southern hemisphere trade winds, these are called as southeast trade winds, we have seen. Come back to here. So these are called as the southeast trade winds. Southeast trade winds, right? So southeast trade winds are moving towards the northern hemisphere now. Actually they are they are of southern hemisphere. So that's why they are in the left, tilting towards the left. But when they cross equator and then they move towards the Indian beyond above the equator in the northern hemisphere, because of the Coriolis force they change the direction. Because in northern hemisphere it is towards the right, it is not towards the left. Once they cross this in the direction, they immediately turns towards the right because of the Coriolis force. So Sahana has answered it as correct. Because of this Coriolis force in the northern hemisphere, the winds tilt towards the right side. So this left tilting moves towards and then change the direction, and then they hit the southwest monsoon. They change the direction and then they hit the India. So that's why Indian monsoon, southwest monsoon is caused by nothing but trade winds, which are southeast southern hemisphere trade winds move cross towards the equator and then they change the direction because of the Coriolis force and then they hit the Indian subcontinent. That's why the southwest monsoon hit the Indian subcontinent, right? Great. So Sahana has answered it as correct. The Coriolis force, because of that they change the direction. Is this clear? Please do respond. Now we can complete this in a very simple manner. Is this clear till now? So we have discussed about the global winds, planetary winds, and we are specifically focusing on the trade winds, right? So trade winds direction we have discussed, low pressure zone we have discussed, and because of this Coriolis force, as they are in the left tilt, but once they cross the equator they become part of the northern hemisphere, so they tilt towards the right side in the northern hemisphere and then they shift towards the southwest direction. Great. So thanks for the response. So this is why the trade winds becomes the southwest monsoon, and once they reach, they hit. Once these trade winds, so observe here, as these trade winds tilt and they have hit the Indian subcontinent, Indian coast is at the, here it is a V direction, it is in a V direction. So that's why these trade winds, after changing direction, they becomes two branches. This land, because of this V-shaped land, this trade winds divide into two parts. One will go towards the Andaman Nicobar and other one will go towards the west coast, hitting the west coast. Yes, great. So see this is how the south trade winds become southwest monsoon. One branch will go towards the Andaman Nicobar, here it will hit the Andaman Nicobar, and again after hitting the land they will shift towards the Indian mainland throughout the northern hemisphere, and this southwest monsoon hit the Indian coast. And you might be aware about the orographic rainfall if you are a civil engineer or a person who know about the rainfall. So there is a orographic rainfall. Once they hit the hilly regions, the complete the Western Ghats, there is a windward side and leeward side, right? This is the hill, and this winds, trade winds become southwest, and they have lot of moisture carried from the ocean, and then after hitting the hills they will give lot of rainfall in this region, and whatever moisture left it will go for the leeward side. So that's why the rainfall in the west coast, throughout west coast will be more, and this region are called as rain shadow zones, where very little amount of rainfall is given on the eastern sides of the Western Ghats, right. So their intensity got decreased, and throughout this there is a very less amount of rainfall in the region. So as move towards the interiors of the land, we reduce less, we get reduced rainfall, because already the coastal regions will get the more rainfall, right. So this is the direction of those things. So two branches, one is Andaman Nicobar branch, one is Kerala zone. So in mainland we receive in the June first week, but in Andaman we receive much earlier than the Kerala region. So if they ask the question about in India which part, and if Andaman Nicobar is located, you have to answer Andaman Nicobar as the one which receives the much earlier rainfall. If they ask Indian mainland, then yes, Kerala is the one which receives the more rainfall. Yes, exactly Ranjan, windward side gives more rainfall. So these are called as the southwest monsoon. Now coming back, as this trade winds after June 1st till September, right, they will come back now, as they have moved towards the northern hemisphere. After like September they will start coming back, because sun will go back to the Tropic of Capricorn. He will go to the equator by September 21, and December 21 he has to go towards the Tropic of Capricorn. So this monsoon winds which came into the India and then tropics region, they will go to the retreat back, they will go to the equator and then go back to the Tropic of Capricorn. So this is called as the northeast monsoon. Southwest monsoon winds which came, the trade winds which have come as a southwest monsoon, give all the rainfall, and now they will retreat back. They have to go to equator by September 21, and then by December 21 they have to go to the Tropic of Capricorn as well. So they are retreating back. So when they are retreating back, they will carry certain amount of moisture and then give rainfall in the Tamil Nadu and Andhra coast. So northeast monsoon gives most of the rainfall in the Andhra and Tamil Nadu region. See, even we have winds which will retreat back, but there is no moisture, there is completely of land. So even though they are retreating back, they don't have moisture to give rain. But those winds which will pass through Bay of Bengal, they will give rainfall in the Andhra and Tamil Nadu coast, which is called as the northeast monsoon, right. This is also called as retreating monsoon or northeast monsoon, when their trade winds are going back from Tropic of Cancer, tropical regions towards the equator and Tropic of Capricorn, right. And one important fact is that we have Aravalli mountains. This is all Aravalli mountains. So southwest monsoons, when they are southwest monsoon, you can see here, when they are from the coast they are entering the southwest monsoon, and then Aravallis in the same direction, the same southwest direction. The Aravallis geography is southwest monsoon, southwest direction, and the winds are also in the southwest. That's why there is no proper rainfall here. If these Aravallis are in this direction, if these mountains were in this direction, then the southwest monsoon will hit the mountains, and there might have a lot of rainfall, orographic rainfall might have been there. But as the Aravallis are in this direction and the winds are also in this direction, they will pass through rather than hitting the mountains. There is no blockade, they will pass through it. That's why the Rajasthan part becomes desert over the period of years. There is no rainfall. That's why Rajasthan has become the dry. If Aravalli mountains must have been in this direction, then Rajasthan might be one of the most fertile regions in the world, because lot of rainfall, right. So this is what it has happened, right. So onset of monsoon means when the southwest monsoon hit the coast of Kerala, and then they divide into two branches. One will go to Andaman Nicobar and then other one will go towards the Indian mainland, right. So Andaman Nicobar they usually hit. So IMD has criteria, So after May 10th, if there is a continuous rainfall for consecutively 2.5 m, there are rain gauge stations, 14 rain gauge stations were there throughout Kerala and Lakshadweep. So if there is a continuous rainfall for 2 days, at least in the at least 2.5 millimeters for at least 60% of these rain gauges receive this amount of rainfall, then it is declared as a onset of monsoon. So monsoons are the most complex things, even scientists still now, geographers are still working on them. So there is a criteria given by IMD that there are 14 rain gauge stations and at least 2.5 mm rainfall is received in this 14 regions, then it is declared as a onset of monsoon. First Andaman Nicobar receives the rainfall between May 15 to May 20 and Kerala. Any doubts in this? Now we can complete, these are factual in nature, right. Great. So this is a one of the most complex topic in the geography. Whenever we teach in the offline also, it takes a lot of time for the students, but in offline we can like teach the students with a more appropriate interaction. But anyway, I hope this is clear. So we have seen the the global winds, the planetary winds, 3 types. I did not discuss about westerly and easterly. Again, there is a lot of other things, it takes a lot of hours. I discussed about the trade winds and then their impact, how they move and how Coriolis force is affected, and then they becomes a different direction as they move towards the northern hemisphere, and then onset of monsoon happens, southwest monsoon, and then when they are retreating back they are called as northeast monsoon, and finally we have seen about the Aravalis as well. Ranjan, not all 14 gauges are located in Kerala, some are like 3 to 4 are located in Lakshadweep also. So the out of 14 stations, most of them are located in Kerala and some are located in the Lakshadweep as well. So only if at least 60% of those stations out of 14, 60% means you can calculate like around 8 stations. So if 8 stations receive 2.5 mm, those now IMD can declare as it is a onset of monsoon. Great. Yeah. Let's move to the next article, that is of landslides. Landslides, right. The context is recently cyclone Remal has hit the Bengal region as well as the Bangladesh region, as well some parts of the northeast as well. Because of that, there were number of landslides and 31 people has been killed in the northeast, starting from Bengal, Assam, other northeast regions. 31 people have died because of landslides, right. So because of this Remal cyclone, there was high intensity of rains and this was degraded the lands, it led to the landslide. That is why we have taken this article from the Hindu itself, right. Now what are landslides? What are landslides? Landslides is nothing but a slip of land. So if this is a hill region and all this material, if they slide down the slope, that is called as landslide. Very simple, very there is no complexity involved, but this happens in a sudden movement. It is not over slowly and all, it happens sudden slip of all the material downslide of the slope is called as landslides. Very basic definition, right. Usually steep terrains and then where there is a high amount of clay, because clay can absorb lot of water and it may lead to the slip of this material. So whenever there is a regions which are hill terrain and then high amount of clay regions, those will lead to the what you call landslides, right. So this is the definition of landslides. Now which regions of India are prone to the landslides? This is a map from ISRO itself. So wherever these western Ghats are the prone ones, and then northwest Himalayas and some northeast region. So these are the regions where Indian land is prone to the landslide. They will ask you in the exam also, if you are writing group 1 of state PSC or UPSC, you can use the diagram also. The red regions are the ones which are more prone, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, and then this Jammu Kashmir region. Here Idukki in Kerala, some parts which are reddish in color are the major landslide areas, and rest of green color ones are, yes, they are prone but not very high intense, right. So these are the regions which are prone to landslides. This was a recent map, 2022 landslide map, so very important for you to remember, right. And data, India is among the top 5 countries in the world which are prone to the landslides, right. India is in the top 5 countries, and excluding snow cover, removing snow cover of the Indian land, 12.6% of, this is a very important and they may ask you in the exam, 12.6 land of India, removing the snow out of all this land area, 12.6% of India's geographical area is prone to the landslides. A very important fact here, total 12.6 land area of India is prone to landslides, right. Now, which areas within India, which areas are more prone to the landslides? 66.5% of northwest Himalayas, northwest means this region, 66.5% of northwest Himalayas are prone to landslides, and 18.8% of northeast Himalayas, that means this region, northeast Himalayas 18.8% are prone to landslides, and western Ghats 14.7% prone to the landslides, right. This distribution is also important. Which regions are more prone? Northwest followed by northeast and western Ghats. These are the 3 major prone areas for the landslides, right. So also briefly, I am not discussing in detail, briefly we will see causes also in the Himalayan regions, right. So in this Himalayan regions, major reasons is high seismicity, that means there is a tectonic activity in the Himalayan regions. You might have seen that Delhi is frequently facing the earthquakes and all, right. So because of earthquakes, seismic activity, the tectonic plane activity is one of the reasons, and then Himalayas mainly consist of the sedimentary rocks. We have 3 types of rocks: sedimentary, igneous and metamorphic, and sedimentary rocks are the ones which are very softer. Because of the sedimentary rocks, they are also contributing for the landslides in the Himalayas, and Himalayas are young and energetic with a lot of rivers flowing like Ganga, Brahmaputra, Indus. These are the ones which are more active. Himalayas are more younger when we compare to the peninsular plateau and all. Because of this, still activity is going on, reverse activity, again this leads to the landslides. And then anthropogenic means very high constructions and all, tourism, all these things are also contributing landslides in the Himalayas. And when compared, we have just seen that southwest monsoon, 70% of India's rainfall is from southwest monsoon, and western Ghats are the ones, the windward side ones, which are receiving high amount of rainfall, and there is a clay also which will lead to the slip of land. Then overburden of hills, I mean higher amount of burden on the hills because of human activity, mining, quarrying, anthropogenic, and then removal of forest, all these are the reasons for the landslides, right. So that is about the landslides. 2 big articles we have done. Now any doubts in this? Any doubts in this landslides? Okay. Let us move to the next one, Nishi tribes. Recently this person, Kabak Yano, who is from Nishi tribe, has climbed the Mount Everest, and for the first time a person from Nishi tribe has climbed the Mount Everest. So that is why it has become an issue, right. So Nishi tribe, we will briefly know about the Nishi tribe. They are the largest ethnic tribe in Arunachal Pradesh, but also lives in some parts of Assam like Sonitpur and all. So they are not just restricted to Arunachal Pradesh, they do live in Assam as well, right. Most of the Nishi tribes following Christianity, 31% of the Nishi tribe follow Christianity and 29% follow Hinduism, right, follow Hinduism, and rest of other people local things like around 60% of people following Christianity and Hinduism, rest of the people they follow local religions, right. And the popular festivals of Nishi tribes are Buri Boot, Nyokum, and Longte. So they will ask you this also, Nyokum, Buri, Boot, and then Longte are the festivals of Nishi tribe, right? And one striking feature of them is there is no caste, there is no class among these people. Everyone considered as a equal. There is no caste element or class element in Nishi tribe, right? So that is about the Nishi tribe. I hope that is clear. Now moving to the next article, Rash Bihari Bose. There is also one more personality, Rash Bihari Ghosh. Don't confuse in the exam. He is a moderator. That means a person who aims to bring change with the prayers, petitions, legal activities and all during the British time. Rash Bihari Ghosh is different from Rash Bihari Bose. We are discussing now about the revolutionary activist Rash Bihari Bose, right? So this person birthday has happened on May 25. So in Press Information Bureau, there was a publication about the Rash Bihari Bose, right? Now who is this person? This is the person origin who born in West Bengal, right? Parents and all names are not very important. So he has born in West Bengal from Chandernagore. Chandernagore is a region where this region was occupied by French. You all, if you are aware about the British time, the modern history, French were the ones who has occupied Chandernagore, a region in the West Bengal. Because of French colony, he learned about the French Revolution. French Revolution is world history, like Napoleon Bonaparte, you might be aware. So there was a French Revolution in 1789 where they have overthrown the priestly class and all, they have bought the democracy, right? So he was influenced by French Revolution, and that revolutionary activities were instilled in the mind of Rash Bihari Bose, and in future he has contributed for Indian freedom struggle to wipe out the British rule, right? So this was the origin where he got the revolutionary thoughts, right? And he was called as Rasu locally. These names are also sometimes asked. And he was the mastermind during 1912. He has planned to kill the Lord Hardinge. He was the Governor General of India that time, Viceroy. So we have named Viceroy after the 1858 Government of India Act. So he was the one who is Viceroy. So they aimed to kill this Lord Hardinge, and this was later came to be known as Delhi conspiracy case. So Rash Bihari Bose was the one who planned this in 1912, right? Also he was associated with the Ghadar movement. Ghadar movement was happened during the First World War in India. So Ghadar movement was the one which planned to bring arms and ammunition from Canada, America, and then to strike against the British in 1915, 1914 to 15. Ghadar, however, it was failed because of local information got to the British. They were able to stop all these arms ammunitions, and they have captured those person who has planned this, and they were able to put on jail, right? Later he escaped from India and he moved to Japan. He married a woman in Japan. He got the citizenship also in 1923 Japan, right? But still he did not stop there. He still kept fighting against the British. He planned during World War II. He was the one who planned India Independence League in 1942. India Independence League he formed, and later he invited Subhash Chandra Bose to take over this league. Yes, Subhash Chandra Bose has taken over this, and he has established Indian National Army. The present Indian National Army was the one which was planned by Rash Bihari Bose. Even before Subhash Chandra Bose, he was the one who has launched India Independence League and Indian National Army, but he given it to the Subhash Chandra Bose. Subhash Chandra Bose has led. Unfortunately, before seeing the independence, we got independence in 1947, both Rash Bihari Bose as well as Subhash Chandra Bose were died, right? So because of his contribution, Japan has given the title as Order of Rising Sun to this particular person, Rash Bihari Bose. So these are the articles for today. Now let us see some factual pointers. Recently, Election Commission has invoked Article 329B. You might have seen Supreme Court has asked Election Commission to publish the data of voting immediately after the election, and Election Commission has said that it is difficult for us to immediately publish the data. So they have invoked Article 329B, which says that no person, no elements, no organization should involve in questioning the election commission related to the elections, right, in certain things. Only certain organization, certain body established by legislature can only question the election commission of India during the elections. So they said that Supreme Court cannot question us. We are conducting the elections and we have the right to publish whatever or whenever we want under Article 329B. So Article 329B is the one which gives power to the election commission to conduct the rules and regulations during the elections. Next one, there was a dispute between Russia and Estonia related to the Narva river. So Narva river is a one which passes through Estonia and then Russia, which is a border between these two countries, right. So there was a dispute in a marking of this river, right. So this river is important. Next one, Deepa Karmakar, who is an Indian gymnast, has got first ever Indian to secure gold medal in the Asian Champions. There was a Asian Gymnastic Championship recently happened in Tashkent, Uzbekistan, and she became the first Indian to win this title, gold medal, right. So those are the facts for today. Fine. So let us now solve the practice questions. See, the monsoon article may be a little bit difficult, but those people who want to prepare for higher level of exam, you need to, even if it is difficult, try to read, try to watch it again, or you can go to the NCERT also and then read it. So it will be really helpful, right. Yeah. First question related to the monsoon, again this was taken from UPSC Civil Services 2012. Okay. First statement, the duration of monsoon decreases from southern India to the northern India. Try to apply. So we have discussed southwest monsoon, we have seen, right. You just need to apply your mind how it works. The duration of monsoon decreases from southern India to north India. We have discussed indirectly this point as well, the first statement. Second one, the amount of annual rainfall in the northern plains, the amount of rainfall they are talking about in the northern plains decreases from the east to west. So for example, this if it you are considering as a India, just visualize, so it does not look exactly, sorry. So this is India, visualize, okay, even though this is not looking like India. I can draw much better, but yeah, currently it is a very less space, right. So they are saying that in the northern India from east to west, so from this region to this region there is a decrease of rainfall. From this region there is a high intense, when we go into the west there is a less rainfall they are saying. And related to the first statement, from South India to North India there is a decrease in rainfall. So what is the correct answer for this? First statement is correct. Yes, southwest monsoon hits in the South India, right. So that is why we have a very huge amount of rainfall in this region, and as we move towards north we have less rainfall. So first statement is correct. And in the northwest India, I mean the west side of India, there is a less amount of rainfall. So the winds, Andaman Nicobar winds gives the at least eastern part they have a rainfall. Here Aravalli hits this winds, they skip towards the Tibet, right. So there is a less amount of rainfall in the west. So second statement is also correct. Yes, so Sahana, then Ranjan, Srinath and Malini have answered it as correct, very good. Next one, which of the following statements in respect of landslides are correct? So this was the one which was given in UPSC NDA, National Defence Academy exam 2022, very recent question related to the landslides, right. So they are asking about the correct statement. They occur only on gentle slopes during the rain. This is the first statement. Second one, they generally occur in clay rich soils, second statement. Third statement, earthquakes trigger landslides. 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 only, 1, 2, 3. So what is the answer? See, read the first statement, they occur only in gentle slopes they are saying. Do you think they occur only in gentle slopes? If there is a high slope, they do not occur. So, this is a very logically wrong, right. So, first statement can be eliminated, they can occur in any of the regions. If it is more slope, then it is more prone to landslides. So, first statement is wrong. Second one, they generally occur in clay rich soils. Yes, this is also correct. Why? Clay rich soils can absorb lot of water and it will enhance the slid. So, cohesion of soil will reduce if there is a clay, because it can absorb more water. So, second statement is also correct. Earthquakes trigger landslides. Yes, this is also correct. So, answer is B, 213. Let us see who has answered this question. Srinath, Sahana, Keshav has answered it as correct, right. So, answer is B. Next question, this was framed by myself, for factual, very simple question. Narva river recently mentioned in news is a boundary between Russia and Ethiopia, Estonia and Russia, El Salvador and Russia, Latvia and Russia. Yes, so we have seen this is between Estonia and Russia, right. So, that is all for today's session. So, I hope you enjoyed. Yes, Ranjan, you are correct. Keshav, yes, both of you are correct. Yeah. So, that is all for today. I hope you have enjoyed. The monsoon article is so complex, is a very important. Try to revise or try to understand the video again. So, you will be having a much better way in the 1 to 3 revisions, right. So, this is all for today's session. If you liked, please do like the video and have a great evening. Thank you. Happy studies.